before we bring on the guests, I want to do something here to just kind of let you know and give you an idea about what we plan to do today to open up our show.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want.
Because I'm happy. It is my pleasure to bring on here to the show Dr. Sungu Armagan, a professor at Florida International University's College of Business and a happiness specialist, happiness professor. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Pete.
And are you happy this morning?
Yes, I am very happy. I was actually dancing to the song you were playing.
It's got to be one of the catchiest dance songs you can hear anywhere.
Yes.
Hey, before we get into the topic of happiness, and we're going to take a lot of this conversation into the workplace because it is a movement now. It all ties into health and wellness and the mindset and feeling good about yourself and feeling good about working and your colleagues and all of that. Before we get into all of that, why don't you share a little bit about yourself for our listeners?
I teach at FIU Business School. I'm in the Management International Business Department. And I teach courses around, people skills, organizational behavior, negotiations, and happiness at the workplace. And I created this class in spring. I started teaching it in spring 2013, and we titled it Happiness at Work. And so I'm teaching this course that is a semester long, every fall and spring, about how to be happier in life and how to be happier in the workplace and how to lead a happier workforce. So I've been doing it since spring 2013, and it really has transformed my life, just sharing about the topics around happiness for the last couple of years. And in one of the classes that I teach every fall and spring, I have as many as 280 students. So, I teach in a big auditorium and we bring in guest speakers, there's lecturing, discussion, exercises, journaling, meditation. It's really actually quite cool. I really think you should sit in it. I know you're interested. I think you should come by.
And I'm just thinking, it's got to be a really fun class.
It is super fun. Of course, you should, we should ask the students just to be on the safe side. But I would like to say that, yes, they're having a lot of fun. And we're also learning a lot. And we also practice a lot of the tools and the strategies that I teach in the course.
For years and years and years and years, we've always said, when you go to work, have a good attitude and have a positive attitude, and and everybody work together. But it has not gained the spotlight as much as it's gained recently.
Right.
There is a legitimate happiness movement to the degree that, for instance, what we're talking about today, an actual class at a major university about happiness in the workplace.
Right.
I mean, who would have thought of that 5 years ago?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy in such a great way.
But that's why it's so important. And at FIU and its innovative nature and flair is looking at every single aspect of the economy of businesses. It's not just how to do things and how to sell and how to market and how to create budgets and how to manage HR, but it's also managing the attitudes.
Of course.
In the workplace there. What are the secrets of happiness, in your opinion?
I would say that there's so many secrets to happiness, but I would say one of the major ones is really having this mindset and being in that feeling space of following your bliss every day. Imagine you're waking up in the morning and you put yourself in that meditative state and you really make a decision that you're going to do your best to follow your bliss, your happiness on that day. And it's really interesting because every time, I wake up in the morning and I really follow my bliss, I find that everything comes to me so much easier. Imagine you start your day and you're out and about and you meet people, you make phone calls, and everything that you're doing, people are taking the call, people are responding to you, people are supporting you, they're helping you, and it's just because you are listening to that inner guidance, that inner feeling that you have on how to interact with everybody all day long. And it's almost like ideas come to you, people come to you, problems are getting solved because you're really following that inner bliss that you have all day long. I would say that's one.
We're always following the inner stuff that's there. So it all depends what's inside of one.
Right, and you need to create and expand and grow your inner world. Sometimes it's easy to just wake up in the morning and all you think of, okay, I got to go to work, I got to get ready, and you have all these things. I got to take the kids to school.
I got.
Right, exactly, and it's all coming from the mind. But what we don't do as much is to really tune in and say, you know what? How can I make my inner world so much richer that my whole world transforms and my whole day transforms and my interactions with my children are better, my interactions in the workplace with my coworkers are better. I think it's really important to tune in and make our inner self richer, and then I think that the outside does follow. And you want to do the outside too. You got to take your kids to school, you got to show up at work. Of course we need to do all of that, but I think that the external world needs to be complemented with the internal world. That's why there's so many people that are meditating. They show up at the gym and that's like a meditative thing for them, and it's working great because they're active, they're eating the right foods and they have the right mindset. Again, they meditate, they do intentional activities to transform their inner world, and then they benefit from that by being more successful in the workplace, getting that promotion, and I think it's important. It pays off. The things that you do, the intentional activities that you do, whether it's meditation or it could be anything, it actually pays off in the longer run in whatever business you're involved in. Whether you're a leader, you're just an employee, it does pay off.
I was talking to someone a couple of days ago, different topics, but we got into how we handle our businesses,
right,
and how this person handles their business. And the comment was, I don't believe in all this happiness stuff at work.
Right.
And I was startled a little bit there. I believe, you get to work is work. You have to focus, concentrate. And I agree with that. I mean, you're not there to socialize.
Of course.
You're there to work. As my on-air book club, I was telling you before that Brian Tracy, and when you hear him a lot of times, when you work, but also when you play.
Right.
However, there's two different scenarios when you go to the workplace. There's the workplace where everybody has got their head down, everybody is whining, everybody is negative, everybody is angry and frustrated. And that just kind of, it's like a disease. It catches on to everybody there.
Right.
So how can productivity happen? It's impossible. By the same token, you go into another company and everybody's up around, they're fired up, they got a great attitude. They
cooperate with each other.
Right. They joke around from time to time, but within boundaries. You know what I mean? It's the key there is to manage that whole happiness part. You need to be happy. You got to be fulfilled in what you're doing, but you also got to work.
Right.
So when you're teaching your class and it talks about happiness in the workplace, what are some of the key points that you share with your students?
There are many key points. We definitely talk about, things like how to follow your calling. You can, for example, look at your job as just a job. It's just a work. It's something that I show up and I get paid. Or you can look at your job in a way where, it's a career and you want to, make more money and get promoted and everything else. Or you can look at what you're doing as a calling. You're really giving a part of yourself to people, and you're generous and you're being there for others, and you're, helping the business's bottom line. So we talk about how to either follow your calling or transform what you're doing in such a way that the way you're doing it is you are following your calling. You're really doing it from a place of, I'm relaxed, I'm feeling good, I'm happy, I love people, and I want to contribute to this workplace. So that's one of the things that we talk about.
Yeah, and I'm curious too, because how did this all come together at FIU between yourself and to actually do a class on happiness in the workplace? So
the way it started was, this was some years ago. I was thinking to myself, if someday I were to retire from my profession, or, something happened and I could no longer be in the profession that I am, I asked myself, what would be the highest, best thing that I could ever do in my profession that I could look back and say, you know what? I have done some good in the world, and I was there for people, and I inspired other people. I maybe helped them transform their lives, and I knew without a doubt that if I were to teach a class on happiness, and I teach in the business school, so that would be a class on happiness in the workplace. I thought if I were to teach a class on that would be it for me. Like, I would really be doing the thing that I
absolutely love to do.
Yes, exactly. And by the way, I was very inspired about 7-8 months prior to that process. I was very inspired by this professor who used to teach these Harvard University psychology course on happiness. So I already knew about that and how successful he was and everything else, and how students loved it. And I thought, what, why can't we do it in the workplace? We need more. We need to teach more of these soft skills. We need to share more about not just, people have a lot of priorities. They prioritize, their health, their family, their work, and these are so important. But why not also prioritize your happiness? I mean, is it the case that work is important because it is bringing money and everything else, but your inner well-being is not? I really think that all of these things are important, and you want to have a balanced life. You want to, yes, go to work, but also feel content and feel relaxed and feel happy when you're at the workplace. So
when we talk about the topic of happiness in general, happiness applies to life in general, and of course in the workplace, everywhere you go, you want to feel happy, you want to be happy. But in your opinion, is it the search for happiness that's important, or the search for what your passion is and love to do that inevitably will make you happy?
I would say it's probably both. I think that on one hand, you are following what you're passionate about, what you're skilled at, what you're really connected to. But on the other hand, you're also doing certain things that would develop your inner world. Again, you have some intentional practice, like you're meditating, you're eating your fruits and vegetables, you tune in to see how you feel on a given day, and just transform those feelings and release certain things that are no longer working for you. I know somebody who does this as a practice, and I think that's just such a great idea. She literally screams into a towel from her gut, from her belly, pretty much every morning, to just let all of the frustrations and everything else out. And this is a daily practice for her. And she says that as soon as she screams into the towel, and I'm sure, she's doing it in a way where she's not waking up the neighbors or anything like that, but, she says that it really puts her in such a wonderful track throughout the day, because she is, coming from a place of really, having released a lot and being able to show up in the world, just being her and feeling better.
Nee, what has been the response from the students in the class? I mean, how are they all taking this in? And have you heard of some success stories?
Oh my gosh, Pete, if you knew the success stories, you would cry. I mean, I almost
got my handkerchief here. I'm ready to cry.
It's crazy. we have different guest speakers that come into class that talk about exercise, healthy eating, how to be more successful in the workplace and in life and everything else. I've had people that, just by eating better, like I have had students who would lose like 40 pounds, 30 pounds, 25 pounds, seriously. And it's not like we tell people, look, you got to lose weight or anything. It's not like that. We just talk about, having healthy habits. And we have people being proactive and losing tons of weight and being healthier. We have students who started, going to the gym and exercising. I've had students who changed their measures after realizing, oh my gosh, I'm studying this thing that I'm studying and it's just not me.
It's not me, right?
It's just not working out. Or, focusing or starting to take other kinds of classes that are more tailored to them. Gosh, it's so many.
So it's a class
I can just go on.
Well, it's a class that allows you to have clarity. It helps, it clears things up for you.
It gives you like this incredible level of self-awareness.
Right.
And it allows you to tune in to see how you're thinking, how you're feeling, and how you're acting in the world, and really transform every aspect of your life that is just not functioning very well as much as you can. And some students, of course, they're taking classes and, they work. Some of them have children. So they have a lot going on. But even if they can do some minor changes in their lives, it's helping them. I have students that just do something minor, like, I kind of like stopped eating, chocolate as a snack or something, and now I'm eating apples or something. Just tiny things like that.
What about getting back into the workplace after taking this class? What kind of stories have you heard there? Have they've taken these new insights and they've taken it back? Maybe they're not the business owner, maybe they're the employee, and they come in with a different attitude that maybe they had before. Have they been a catalyst in creating that type of attitude or happiness in the place that they work at?
Yes, I would say definitely. I have students who tell me things like, oh my gosh, I'm just so much more fulfilled in the workplace. My colleagues are saying that it's contagious. I'm much more creative. I feel like I make better decisions. I'm more cooperative. I have a more positive mindset. Again, it's just the list is just so long.
Sure. What about, do you have many business owners in your class?
I actually, yes. Believe it or not, I have students that even own multiple businesses, and I'm thinking, you should teach this class. You're just so successful.
No, what I'm saying is there's a great opportunity for the university is to target business owners, because, as you would agree, the tone of any organization, whatever that might be, is set at the top.
Exactly.
And if that business owner has that mindset of being positive and and kindness,
right, and then you treat your people better. You're more creative, right? I mean, you delegate the work better, and you're more.
Just general productivity goes up.
Exactly,
in the company.
and we know that. We know that with research. When you're happier, you're more productive.
Right.
When you're more productive, you're happier. Happier people, their performance increases in the workplace. The organization's performance increase. There's less turnover. There's less absenteeism. People are, less likely to steal the stapler, so to speak. They're less likely to be involved in unethical activities. So the benefits of happiness is tremendous. And you're right. There are students who have they own multiple businesses, and there are many students who want to open their own business, and they come and they say, you know what, professor, now that I am taking this class, or I've been taking this class, I'm thinking, you know what, the kind of company I want to create and how it is that I want to work with people in that company is a whole lot different now that I'm aware of the people aspect, now that I'm aware of the content and everything else. And by the way, when we talk about happiness, again, like you said before, we're not talking about, everybody's so super happy, that everybody's so distracted, everybody's, wanting to go to the beach every day, right? Yeah. So we're definitely not talking about la la land. We're talking about having commitment, having focus, using your strengths and skill sets, and happiness as a complementary mechanism to increase the bottom line of the business, to increase the contentment of the employees and the leadership. You don't want just happy employees either. You want a happy leadership as well. You want people to lead your business who are, creative and who are fulfilled and who are working in your company because they really want to make a difference.
You just said the magic word, fulfilled.
Yeah.
When you feel fulfilled,
right,
and you are passionate about
right,
what you do,
right,
and the work that you do at whatever level, that is contagious.
It is.
That is contagious. And especially if you look at the person at the top, the business owner or the CEO, a decision maker, person that supervises, has employees, has a team that they supervise, okay? If that person is someone that is passionate, driven, fulfilled, happy, then that will permeate, that will spread to the team.
And you know what? If they're really smart, and I'm guessing many of them are, and they're smart, they're going to hire people that are in tune with the energy that they're radiating. And they're going to hire people that actually can bring to the table their own fulfillment, their own successes. And so you're going to hire people that are more congruent to the values of the business.
30 plus years ago, I was in a different industry, and I was a manager, and I interviewed potential new employees. And obviously I was looking for a series of different things, skill sets and experience. And the one thing that was so important to me back then, I did not want to bring anyone in that had a negative attitude. And you know them, I mean, you don't even have to search for it. It's right in front of you. I'm thinking they have all these skill sets and all this experience, but they're displaying
they
a
look
negative.
great on paper.
Even in that interview, they're displaying this negative attitude that I'm saying, you know something? Forget it. It just drowned everything else. I forgot about their experience. It wasn't that important to me anymore. I just said, this person's going to be trouble. They're going to be a pain. And you know what? I'm not even going to waste my time. I don't care how good they look on paper. That's why you have to meet people too.
Right, exactly.
That's why you have to connect with people. You can't just judge on what's on paper.
Right, and that's why we talk about, making your inner world richer, taking up some practice that'll allow you to do better in your life, because you want to show up in that interview in the best place you can. You're energetic, you're excited. Even eating better and exercising and having a social, being a part of a wonderful social environment, engaging with other employees, reading and growing your mind and just becoming the best version you can, and then showing up in an interview like that in the workplace, like you said, it is contagious, and it makes a huge difference. And I think that if everybody were aware of this, and I think most people somewhere inside them, they are aware, and if we were all more and more aware of this, I think we would be more motivated and inspired to make more positive changes in our lives and transform the organizations that we're a part of. And I don't think it's just the responsibility of the leadership of an organization to transform that organization. It's the responsibility of every single person, including the person who is, sweeping the floors and everybody else. So if we're all in the same boat and we're all cooperating, we're all, coming together, I mean, what a wonderful place. And it will be a wonderful place to work in, right? I mean, don't you want to work in a work organization where people are inspired and creative and they're supportive?
Correct.
And they're also smart, and they're educated, and they have all these things. I mean, what a wonderful thing to be a part of.
That goes back to what we said before we started. We are all accountable, every single one of us, and you can be a leader leading with that kind of an attitude without the title. Or without the ownership of you are a leader, and you are inspiring others with your attitude and what you do and your work ethic and everything. Before we wrap it up,
and thank you for including work ethic. That's also
absolutely.
Right?
I mean, work ethic is
to be ethical, to be moral, right? I mean, you're just doing the right thing, and you care about not just yourself, but you definitely care about your people, and even put your people first when the situation comes to that. That's
Dr. Armagan, before we wrap it up.
Oh my gosh, no! I don't want to wrap it up.
You're so
We're
happy.
having too much fun.
We got about a minute left.
Okay.
What should the listeners do? They want to find out more about this class and how to get involved. What do they need to do?
Well, I mean, if you have a chance to take a class at FIU Business School, by the way, the course is open to pretty much every single student at FIU, regardless of what your major is. So if you have just like 30 credits in campus, you're good to go. You could be taking this class. So I would say just, search for MAN 3100. Happiness at Work. I'm the professor that is teaching it. It's, Professor Armagan. So just look for it. And also I would say to people in general, there are just so many books on, out there, just great books on happiness. I would say to people, just inform yourself, be out there, read, grow yourself, go on YouTube. And, there are just so many segments, so many sections on, happiness and well-being and health and everything else. lifestyle. So I would say just, do your research and use your common sense, use your intuition, do what's right for you, and develop your inner world, and then have your outer world transform as a result of that.
Beyond curriculum, beyond innovation, I think any university or college in this country, if they really want to make a difference, because it all starts with our mindset and how we feel, our attitudes, should make this course mandatory.
I absolutely agree. I would love it if this
should not be an
mandatory.
afterthought.
Right.
This is because you want to make a difference. It all starts
absolutely.
with you.
Yes.
And I would think that even for the university, all the professors in the university should take this class.
I love taking my own course. I mean, I'm not saying it because I'm teaching it, but I love taking my own course every time I'm teaching it. And I think that if almost every single student who's really interested could take this course with before they graduate, I think that could be phenomenal. And that's my intention. If everybody could take it, that'll be great.
I believe wholeheartedly, now that I hear you and what you're doing here, that should be a mandatory class you take before you get your degree.
Yes.
I really believe it,
I really
because
believe that too.
It goes below the radar screen, and people, that's not that important,
right, and it's easier to get a decent grade in that course, and it's
and
all
you'll be happy
understandable.
Because you got a good grade.
Exactly,
Okay,
and people are, they say, I'm just so much happier every time I go to class. Like that day alone just goes so great because I was in class, and that's wonderful. But I think that most everybody probably who's interested should be taking the course.
I want to thank you very much.
You're welcome, Pete. It was just so wonderful being here. Thank you for being great.
And this conversation is perfect for everything going around us right now.
Oh, you're right.
It's that time of
great
year
timing,
where
right.
Many people are happy, many people are not happy for whatever.
But the New Year is coming up. It's like your New Year's resolution. I'm going to just work on myself and my inner world and make my life better.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pete. You're great.